Be a minute.
You have regardless, something to. Yeah, I can't think today. I'm already
It's satisfying? I don't know.
It's satisfying. Yeah, there's the reason they have it is they have a chip on their shoulder. There
Sure.
we go. We got there eventually.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
And like that's important, I think, for a lot of these players to have motivation to play the game and to compete at the highest level.
All right, as we move forward here, and I see that. I think that is a driving factor for a lot of folks. I think it's just instinctive. But
yeah,
we do move forward here. Rad is going to ban out that Mantis. And we'll see the side of Human Torch getting removed as well from Nova Esports. They do not want to go against that, locking in that Luna Snow.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll see.
That's a lot of that recently, huh? Luna Snow?
Yeah, I think Luna Snow. And that's interesting. They're already going to protect the Mantis.
I think Rad has potentially one of the best Mantis in the region when it comes to level 1.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he is goated with it. But that's interesting they're prioritizing that over Luna Snow when everybody else before has prioritized Luna Snow, right?
It could force an Adam ban, or it enables that one-shot composition there for the side of Rad. I think there is a lot, and this is what I'm talking about when it gets cerebral, right? There's a lot of stuff that we just can't anticipate until we see it, and they elect to not actually remove the Warlock. Said they're going to get rid of Luna and keep the cap. So this is quite the ban phase. They are removing Magneto for the opposition as we see that transfer over here very shortly.
Yeah, both mags getting removed, and I wonder, I mean, none of these teams have, both of the teams playing today have not practiced against each other at all. I mean, maybe there's some, gamesmanship behind the scenes with trying to see what they're banning and what they're practicing and stuff. That's obviously, a bit more devious, and I think that kind of crosses some lines when you start to try to find, practiced VODs and stuff of the players playing the game.
Yeah.
But, there is
integrity as well.
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, people do it, right? Any advantage that you could possibly get, these players want it. So I think that for both these teams, this is that feel-out map today, and I'm curious how much they even know about each other.
Yeah. I think that's exciting. I mean, I'm sure I don't know if they've scrimmed, honestly. I believe.
No, they haven't. There's no way. Because if you know your matchup coming up, why would you ever scrim them,
Touché,
I guess? So,
touché.
and it's been weeks that we've been here in China. The players specifically showed up before us. We came a week ago, right?
Yeah.
So these guys have been here for weeks on end, practice against each other, getting ready.
That's a great thing to call out. I do think you need to say that at this point, teams are not, there is no time zone advantage or disadvantage. Teams are now locking into this time zone. And so just to keep that in mind, because I mean, it would be an advantage greatly if it was a day or two transition. I know it took us a few days as well just to make that happen for ourselves. So
absolutely.
Pressing forward here. We are going to have Nova and Rad, and I am excited. I do think you kind of mentioned that, we talk about how smart they are as a team for Rad and how mysterious Nova is. This could be the battle of the brains, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do here on Burn.
And you talked earlier about how unique Rad is, for sure.
Sure.
Rad was the one to protect the Mantis, correct?
Yes.
So that is already unique in the fact that we have never seen that, right? We talked about it a little bit earlier, but I don't think it can be stressed enough how
and they didn't worry about the Luna ban.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're just like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and man, I'm curious to see how that pans out because that's sort of already different than what we've seen earlier.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Very, very exciting. I wonder what the strat line. Go ahead and give me a guess. What do you think the strat line is going to be here for Rad?
For Rad, I mean, it's got to have maybe some Ultron Mantis play or something like that, like we saw earlier, that since that didn't get touched. We've seen how good Mantis can be with the damage boost, like you said. Maybe they're running that triple backline as well. Maybe we see some Adam Warlock with it. Maybe some of the Loki. Did Loki get banned? Actually, I don't think it did. So we might potentially see that later on. But we know how strong the Mantis is. And, whoa, we got the Jeff coming out. We got some Jeff.
I love it. Full res comp here for the side of Rad with Jeff. For Fate, this is the crowd I hear behind me already stirring, getting excited, and this is what you wanted to see, and I had a feeling it might be coming. Trust me here. Going to start the playoff. Very aggro here on Venom. You can actually, in the new patch, bind Easy Swing as a separate cooldown, which for those who maybe don't know, it enables you to instantly slam. So very, very strong addition. It's like a buff without a buff. So keep that in mind as you play Venom as you progress forward here as Naga. Gonna keep adding pressure. Bond goes out early. This is going to allow them to just kind of play very aggro, not stress too much as Cap escapes by the skin of his teeth. And Yexin finds Naga early, but their res will come through.
Yeah, on the opposite side, you res it through, like you said, it's so much pressure. A lot of people, trust me, thinks that this is the best composition in the game for a reason, Shiv. They res back, the pressure's back here for Nova. Nova's running this sort of counter dive composition. They have the Jeff with those squirts from across the map. And this is the thing as well, Shiv, with this composition, with the Jeff comps. They can play this to a T in terms of just getting on the back line, setting up everybody because you have those speed boosts from the bubble. So you sort of 3-2-1 dive.
Very
and
smart.
your dive is so lethal, so quick because of the speed boost from Jeff.
Yeah, imagine a spinning Star-Lord with speed over you. You know what I mean? That's almost similar to a mag bubble where it's a little more slow, but at least has protection. This now just allows you to ensure that you're tracking and following everyone, getting that all charge incredibly quickly. A lot of just very unique synergies here, and damage was obviously nearly across the board, but definitely on that Venom when that all comes out, I'm sure of it, as that will help. We're going to have to see what they're going to do there as Rajaro going to be playing the Emma. This is, Emma's going to have to play a little bit differently, obviously. They do have triple strategists, but they don't have a ton of burst healing. Ooh, like we talked about, one of the strongest duelists is going to find Trust Me early, and that's huge for the side of Nova, but the Reds goes out by Melio. Immediately, Trust Me's back in one, and the Jeff doesn't find value. We'll look shortly as the off-map is right there. No, Jeff does not find much as we get the dance floor coming in here from the side of Ghost. Vaughn is going to have that Psionic. Trust Me finds Uwu, though, puts them back up in numbers. Make that 2 as Rajaro gets a pick on Bobo, holding on to Alt as well. Very low in HP. 15, are you kidding me? Still holding on. Wow.
I mean, the target focus there faltered a little bit, and Rad, I mean, they're backing up right now, Shiv, at the backside of the point. And right now, I mean, the side of Nova Esports, they are finally coming back into this point. But man, Rad, maybe overcommitting towards that single fight. I mean, they're still on this point. They're still delaying it for so long because of the reses coming through.
And that's that stall tactic you had mentioned, Trust Me mentioned. You try to hold the point for as long as you possibly can. Now they're at 74%, and it's almost a one-fight territory unless that teleport comes through, which, obviously it will. But that is already putting you at a disadvantage. Lost an all charge and a force and a brand new selection, which maybe doesn't synergize with Team Comp. Naga is going to press forward here with Rajaro as they are holding that. And they, as always, Trust Me, as you see here, using that wall climb first, not using his out cooldown, immediately going out to the back line. Good tracking, great freeze though, as we do see a combination. Out goes the Galactic, doesn't find one with a Psionic. Both very low. Oh my goodness, great positioning. Melio finds Bobo though, but that was a great retake in the fight and way to drop back to get healed up.
Absolutely, it's tough for Bobo, especially on this round. This is a hard map to play Psylocke because of the distance, because of the range, and they're going for more. They're hungry. Nova didn't reset fast enough, and the Jeff, it's disgusting, Shiv.
That is crazy. Rajaro with another
Spawn
pick.
camp.
That is, oh, they are. Why not? Don't let him teleport, knock him back into the spawn. Trust Me finds Ghost, and that might do it. As I don't know if they're going to be able to try to find this off angle with Uwu to get the teleport off. Will they be able to shut it down? Trust Me not looking that direction yet. It looks like the teleport might go through. They're going to retake and drop back. Great usage there of the, oh my goodness.
It was too far. 5% from the spawn that cap, he tried to run and, unfortunately got stuffed. And that's why, like, those spawn camps, like you said, Shib, that was so clean, so smart. Yeah, it's necessary to prevent the portal, like you mentioned, from the Doctor Strange. Now we're heading over to Warrior Falls next, man. You like the Jeff stuff, huh?
I love this. I mean, the raw speed that they're using with Jeff.
Yeah.
If you were to ask a ton of the ladder, let's say an example, what's Jeff's best utilization? Obviously, the speed is great out the spawn door, and that's a common thing to say. But a lot of the time, people would say that ultimate. You try to use it to get people off point. You do it for this and that. At this level of play, it's not going to get nearly as much value. It will find some success in various situations. Instead, using that speed boost and the jet stream, especially in hallway play, appealing everyone and dealing damage.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so clean from all of Rad Esports to win there, and it's nice to see them kind of pop off and it's speed boost, like you said, on the back line. Meanwhile, for Nova, this is interesting. They're going to swap to like full sort of, they're trying to do full counter dive. They got off to Bucky. The Bucky wasn't working. But the tough part is you kind of want and need to play Bucky because he's like one of the stronger anti-dive heroes. I don't know if Star-Lord, especially without the Adam Warlock team up, is going to do as much for Team Nova here.
And we begin the first fight. Uwu gonna spin to the back line, but Naga takes out Uwu. Ghost goes down. Trust Me with a two-piece on a Yex. And Ghost, Trust Me in these early fights, consistently still holding on to this ultimate, finding value is wild. And Venom just follow. Oh, nice. Okay, we did have a Jeff E there. It is gonna isolate and stall. And what a big brain play. Finding that stagger just through Jeff ult is insanely smart. Using that for that reason is something I honestly never thought of. You find the last person, you Jeff ult them alone, and you wait as long as possible and throw them in a zone that forces them to try to make sure they get KO'd.
Well, I wonder why Vaughn's even playing Doctor Strange here, man. This just feels so odd and sort of disjointed, right? Doctor Strange with his competition to play the counter dive, sure. But maybe this is what we were talking about earlier, where Vaughn is a bit of a Magneto one-trick potentially, right? So that sort of turns things on its head, the fact that, Vaughn's maybe not able to play a hero that he's comfortable on, and maybe that ban could potentially set Nova so far back to win in the series, because at the moment, they look a little bit lost. I want to see them kind of come back through. They have the Invisible Woman to help with the peel, but right now, Rad's is so oppressive on the back line, even early Star-Lord ult with the peel.
Uwu, Galactic Legend goes out, does find one on a bait. Clem goes down, Bot finds level 1 Crook. Uwu with a second Bobo on a Rajaro, and there is what you need to see. That's exactly what you need to see. If you are a fan of Nova, that was a great play. Still roughly holding on to ults. They will be down 1 in the next fight. Oh, almost 2.
Well, trust me, he's going to stall, and they're coming back into it, right? With
my
that Mantis
goodness.
Soul.
Are you
They're
kidding
running it
me?
through because of the res, man.
I honestly missed. What a play there. Naga with 2 more on EX. Again, still holding on. We talked about the stall tactic. Do whatever it takes to stall, and they are relentless. It is so hard to force them back to the spawn door.
Poor Bobo, man. He's being hunted. How is he supposed to run? He can't run away on
That's
Psylocke. You have 2
crazy.
dashes in Viz that Jeff just sends somebody after you. He says, sick him, and that Psylocke goes down.
I love these utilizations of ultimates. Very different strategies. Using them aggressively and defensively to stall and stagger is unique, right? It's not about getting big 4-man off maps. Instead, it's about just utilizing the fights that you just won and extending the time that you're on point. Yexin going to try to take space here. Does have the ult ready if they can find the play through. Freedom Charge will be utilized, I believe, as they walk forward, forcing them off Nova. Going to try to hide from the Psyduck Seduction around the point. Out goes a few. The shield going to stall a little bit. Rajaro not finding much, walking as the Jeff. Bobo gets 3 now with the Cutterfly, excuse me. And that is a bunch of value, but at this point, 99% here for Rad is dicey.
Yeah, what a huge ultimate from Bobo. That was so clean. I mean, Rad utilizing all their cooldowns earlier. We saw how they used the Soul Bond, Soul Bond earlier from Melio, and then also Level 1 Cook popping his own ultimate to kind of win that previous fight. Now resulted in that upcoming fight going down to Bobo with a fantastic use of the Dance of the Butterflies. But now we'll see on this comeback, right? How can they hold with the Fate of the Worlds, right? They also have that Star-Lord ultimate ready to go as well. So I want to see how Nova does here on these holds, like you said. But they have to win so many fights in a row.
And we begin again, trust me, playing hyper aggro, still holding on to those cooldowns. Notice the patience, not needing to use that E until the very last second. Still has that Q up, ready to devour, going towards the backline. A ton of bodies.
Ooh.
What a freeze there, and follow up by Bobo to clean it up as Uwu now. Trying to follow up and get 1. Down goes Naga. Do I see 2 onto Crook? Crook goes down. Make that 3. Uwu with a triple KO and taking back the point and holding on at 45%.
Well, there we go. Not to be a negative Nancy, though. A lot of ultimates saved for Rad Esports. They didn't even want to use anything in that previous fight, understanding they were going to maybe lose, trying to just win with the Soul Bond. They've got the Resurrect ready to go. Nova also did commit a single ultimate in that fight, so that was actually nice and clean by the side of Nova to not even overuse. So, ooh, fantastic work to be the only one to commit ults in this upcoming fight.
Yeah, that freeze from Ghost was fight winning, right? It was everything. Trust me, did have ult too, and was definitely looking to make that play, but it's very tough to get an angle in the tight quarters like that. Out we go immediately from Bobo. Does it get value? Out goes the Mantis to counter right back. The Eye of Agamotto! Oh! Gets slammed out of the sky! No eye, back to 50% he goes, as they will press forward. Trust me, gets 1 as Clem. Naga gonna clean up Boo, and this could be it until the teleport comes through. Will they be able to hold on? Will they be able to retouch as Vaughn makes the transfer over, holding on to that portal, and out goes another legend. Level 1 fights Bobo. Naga gonna try to clean up the rest. Will they clean it up? The teleport, down goes Ghost, and they'll be down a strat in this next fight, and that could be everything, as Rad might take home map 1.
It did, yeah. Vaughn didn't even portal because he was already on the point. He was the only. He didn't go down. He was one of the first ones picked off, and because of it, Rad win map number 1 up on the T'Challa ship. Holy smokes! What plays there by the side of Rad Esports.
Yeah, I mean, that's the tough side of playing Strange, right? There's so much value in being able to swap to Strange. It's, I mean, that was...
And that's the tough part when you play Strange, is that, because he's so tanky, he's not going to go down first.
Yeah,
it's always going to be Bobo or somebody else, and then they can't portal too. So, man, maybe this Nova team really does have a huge gap in the fact that Vaughn, his flexibility is just kind of non-existent.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Because stat line, I believe he did well, right? Like, he looked good, but you're right. I mean, it just doesn't matter. I think...
They were playing weird, I think, to me. Sorry, Shiv, to talk over you, but...
You're right. I just think they were losing fights, right? Like, they had the advantage in certain fights. They would still lose. I saw very smart play, right? They weren't overcommitting. We talked about that even in the last fight, only utilizing 1 ultimate. Obviously, a pick had happened first, but they seemed patient. It's just like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just Rad. Like,
so, yeah, exactly. It is. And this is why I think Trust Me said that he thinks Triple Res, the Adam Warlock Triple Res
that'll be gone.
Is the best in the game, right? Yeah, that's got to get gone, got to get out of the hero pool next ban phase for sure. You're right.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I think with this, there's no one to dive, right? And that's the hard part, because I think Trust Me said now that they're one of the best teams at peeling, at kiting, getting away. Basically, when you talk about a kite, you're just getting away from everybody else. Imagine how a kite, when you throw it out there, it flies in the sky. So that's in the esports scene in Marvel Rivals. Whenever you're running away from somebody, avoiding ultimates, not using your own, just trying to back up, that's called a kite. So really, what they did is they kited so well. You saw Rajaro using that diamond form to get the damage reduction, falling back to the team. That was just so clean, so smart, and that's the hard part. That's why they said there's nothing to really do. It just feels like you get diffed in the ban phase, right? Because the Mantis got removed early, and they prioritized that. And that's the hard part as well, because like, what is Bobo supposed to dive, man?
Yeah.
Like, Bobo's setting up for the cap dives, but then he gets pressured out because of all the healing.
Sure.
And then all those cooldowns go away. He has to kind of still regroup so the cap goes for the dive again, but you're down your second dash on Psylocke. You don't have invisibility because it's on such a long cooldown.
And there's Bond.
And
Bond ready too. And Jeff, which is tough to find, and Mantis was sleep. I mean, Mantis is a little more diveable if you bait that cooldown, but when you have Bond ready and Jeff, who is so good at escaping and speed boosting whoever's in trouble, it is very difficult to find value with that.
And to me, it seemed like it was over as soon as they swapped off the Bucky, and it's because
I agree with that.
I mean, Bucky's the only counter dive hero you can really play against. That you play the Starlight, they did better with it, I think. But maybe that's a comfort thing or something with Uwu. Regardless, I think once the Bucky was just dove on, because they had really good target focus to make sure that Bucky couldn't do anything.
Sure.
It was over for them, right? And that's how you can see how strong Triple Res is.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think we won't be seeing that in the next map. I think that strategist line is wild, fun to watch, but I think that, you know, there's a conversation to be said where it's, you almost don't want to show your hand too early. This is the play-in stage, and that was flawless. But was it worth them using that now? I think that will be a very focused target ban in the future.
Probably,
but the thing is, it's like you still want to get in, guarantee you get in. So there is an argument either way. But maybe, I don't know. They just looked so clean. Everything was smooth. I love the play off the Jeff bubbles. I love the speed boost spin. I love the collapse and the idea of using Jeff to, you know, spit your teammates for speed and which, you know, you see that sometimes in ladder as you're climbing and you're like, it wasn't as valuable. But in team play like this, it's very different. Or using it to force stagger as long as humanly possible. Throwing somebody in a position they cannot off map.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot you could do with it for sure.
That's crazy.
And I think to go back onto it, I think you made the original point that a lot of teams are a little bit too cookie cutter, right? And Rad is not. You mentioned that how they are definitely a team that is not cookie cutter. They do unique things, like you said, protecting the Mantis and banning it, right? So that, I mean, Nova, maybe they were a little too cookie cutter, right? We don't know obviously too much about them. A lot of the fans and stuff at home, if you're watching from the West, this is the Chinese team that was in second place. That's why they're in the play-in stage with Rad Esports. But I think the biggest strength of a lot of teams from the West, which I'm curious what the Asia region says, I'm curious what the Chinese region as well as the Oceania region think. The biggest strength out of a lot of the Western teams that I have seen when I watched the EMEA region, when I watched the North American region, the ban phases out of the top teams are all really good. The only team that I think was lacking in the ban phase was a team like Envy before. But I think 100 Thieves, I think they're looking a lot better now, by the way, Team Envy is in the ban phase.
I agree. I love what they were doing.
But regardless, I think Rad was one of the best teams in the entire world at the ban phase. And Sentinels and 100 Thieves, same thing. That's why they're here, is because they were so good at adapting to the new Ignite format.
Yeah, and we talk about how smart they are as a team. We saw, trust me, really running those ban phases. He's very much understand. It's like, you know, a lot of teams have coaches in stat lines and statistics, you know, Excel sheets essentially. But it was all in his brain. He just knew exactly what to do and made the decision. Having conversation with the team, obviously they are still a team environment, but it was fun to watch, and I think that they're doing great on these ban lines.
Absolutely. I think it's what it kind of boils down to preparation, right? And the fact that there's so much to do, you're always underprepared, right? Because there's so many things to take into account, like you said. And maybe even on the opposite side, maybe Nova wasn't even thinking about triple res. They didn't think that was a problem. But from everything we've heard behind the scenes, this is one of the best comps in the game, if not the best. So the fact that you gave Trust Me what he feels is the best composition of the game, that's a brutal ban phase for Nova. Yeah,
and I think, you know, we are going to see the switch up, but that's definitely their strongest composition. Or, you know, who knows? But I know it's a comfort pick for them, right?
Right.
Trust Me with 8 finals. You look over at Naga, 9. Crazy Rajaro. You got to show love to that tackle. Canceling the Eye of Agamotto could have been a very different ending to that map if that eye goes out. And they are very focused. I know right now Strange does not have the capabilities to pressure through a strategist ultimate by himself, but with this level of team play, there's a really hard focus, and you will still find picks through that play. So, you know, it looked really good over there. And you look over on the other side. Ooh, still has 8 over there with Star-Lord. So a strong play as well, but Trust Me, wow.
Yeah, unfortunately, at points, it doesn't matter what you do statistically. It feels like it was, it comes down to, you know, who's running the better compositions, right? Who kind of won in that ban phase, in that protect phase.
Sure.
That's sort of been a big dictating fact in the Ignite series. Meanwhile, pretty reasonable MVP based on everything we've heard with Trust Me.
Yeah, it was clean. I think the only mistake, if you will, was the attack onto a 4-stack back line. Like, they're all grouped in that corner, tough for them to get a lot of momentum swings there. And so did get caught by the freeze, and just the raw burst potential was wild to see. Just instantly gets KO'd.
And that's how you know it's hard, is that the fact that you're relying on situations like that, like a big freeze, a big skill shot. You need to remove, I think the pro teams, and this is what professional coaches told me, the biggest thing is cooldowns for a reason, but also like, if you're relying off of these crazy hard-to-hit shots, right, crazy hard-to-hit freezes and stuff, you're not going to win.
Yeah,
you need consistency. This game is like a MOBA, right? It's a you have to think about it from a top-down perspective because it's your first person or it's a third-person shooter game, so obviously it's hard to think about it that way.
Sure.
But you do, because everything is, you want to make it as easy as possible on your players on your team, because on match day, it's the easiest to make work, right? And for these dives and stuff, all you have to do is do a 3, 2, 1 countdown from Fate with the speed boost from the Jeff. Everybody's there, dives in. You already know, because they practiced it, what you're using first, right? Like you talked about the Soul Bond.
Yeah.
They use that first. You've built up support ults, then you come in with the Mantis ult and stuff. It's like this constant battle of attrition.
Yeah, I think it was very smooth play. I liked what you were talking about initially, right? Where you're saying things like Luna, at this level of play, when you can bait out that freeze cooldown that maybe even doesn't get hit in the first place.
Yep.
And then you can hard dive focus, which we might, we'll likely see here in the replay. This is a perfect time to talk about the Guardians comp. So in this next patch, Guardians comp is actually getting removed, and they are instead changing that fact. So Luna, right now at the top level play is not great into dive. Unfortunately, struggles into dive, has one cooldown that you need to bait, and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
But in the next patch, with that removal of Guardians, I love what they're doing with Mantis, and I love what they're doing with Warlock. Warlock now is going to instead enable Luna to be able to have an ability that she can link with an enemy, and all damage she deals heals her. So she will now be good into dive. So we will see things potentially, it depends on what the meta looks like by the pro scene, of things like Warlock and Luna. So that is going to completely change the way the hero is played. And being able to do that in a shooter with team-ups is so cool. It's so unique. And I think it really changes the flow. And now we're going to start seeing more anti-dive potential with heroes that maybe struggled in the past.
I think you're right, and there's a couple things on that I think that you bring up. That's a good point, right? If you've maybe left the game because of triple res, because you didn't like it so much, you're coming back.
Come on home.
Come on home. It's gone now.
We ain't going anywhere. Yeah.
We are. The game changes so much. You talked about how the devs are constantly adapting, changing things constantly, and that's one of those things. Is those team ups get benched, then they maybe come back later and stuff, but. Man, it feels like I think the only that was a huge grab. That was a massive play in the replays. I think a huge thing as well in terms of anti-dive. The only other thing I completely passed over me is the Iron Fist team up with Luna Snow.
Sure, yeah, that's impactful as well.
One of the only things you could do against like these full dive compositions, but it's tough because you have to play the Iron Fist with it.
Sure.
Do you have a good Iron Fist player? There's a lot that kind of goes along with it. And do you want to commit everything into playing anti-dive? Do you want to play Invisible Woman? Do you want to play Bucky? Do you want to play that Iron Fist with that Luna Snow? Because you're committing a lot to that, and the flexibility isn't there for a lot of these players.
Sure. Sure, and it's also difficult to anticipate, right? It's difficult to anticipate exactly what they're going to run, especially on the first map like this, where we're still learning, teams are still learning each other. As this tournament goes on, that will change. But remember, these are the play-in stages. 2 teams are going home, and that is crazy.
That's insane. Yeah, the fact that we are going to be seeing that later on, obviously with Liger Mello later on, that will be so much fun. I think we'll be watching the crowd, vibing it out, checking it out, because, man, the energy in this room is awesome, especially for the home team in Nova. Regardless what happens today, I think they have a lot to change for this upcoming map in that ban phase, like you said. But, man, that's crazy. Do you think that Nova even expected the Mantis Protect to come out first instead of a Luna Snow Protect?
See, no, and I think that shook them, right? And I think it just was confusing, and then it changes your ban structure, and that's why we talk about coaches being so impactful. If you've experienced stuff like that, you add it into your bank. You start thinking to yourself, like, okay, this is what happened. We can no longer allow that to happen. But as you do that over time, you eventually have a comprehensive list of what your decision needs to be, and that's going to help you win. But then you get into, who are the strengths in the opposition? What hero pools can they pull out? And that gets even more complex. It is wild what these coaches have to do. So then you think of things like Crimzo, a player coach. I can't, my mind couldn't handle that. That's just so much. So there's a lot of complexity, even in the banning phase, and I think we saw them work that system.
Yep, and luckily they have another chance if you lose, right? So Gen G, the team we saw earlier, sent down the loser brackets. That we will still see them again, right? But that is going to be the tournament life on the line. $150,000, $160,000, right, for first place?
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane. $500,000 total for every single team here at the midseason in Guangzhou, China. So, man, that's a big deal, and I think that the home team in Nova definitely has to step it up in this next map.
Yeah, absolutely. There is potential, right? The bans are definitely going to change, and we'll see if that impacts in the map is going to go in their favor, and we'll see if they have some sort of, composition or something that they run that maybe is going to throw off the opposition. Rad may not expect something, and that's what you have to do now, especially in a situation like that where it looked pretty consistently one-sided. I mean, there was some good fightbacks, honestly, especially map 1.
Yeah.
But map 2 was tough.
And I feel like this kind of goes back to a discussion that we've had before with like Star-Lord and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like we saw Uwu swap over to the Star-Lord instead of playing the Bucky, and it did feel like the composition was a little bit disjointed. As we go over to Aegis Path, we're going to see Nova pick the attack again. You said that teams like to prioritize playing attack first. We'll see if Rad wants to do any spawn camp strategies. We might see them probably do it, but I think for this team, for Team Nova, they have a lot to think about in this upcoming map, and I don't know. They look like they could figure out something in this upcoming phase for sure, this band phase.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this change up. What do you think? I mean, my question: you need the Bucky probably for the dive, right? You need potentially Bucky. It depends on really what their strengths are, but that mag, like if that gets banned again, I know that is a heavy strength for them. If that gets banned immediately, they're going to be back in trouble. They need to have something else.
I don't remember who I was talking to. I believe it was it was a pro player, right? Anonymous pro player. We'll go with that.
Okay.
Basically, they were talking about how against the Atom comp, when you play the triple res composition, it almost feels like there's something you can really do, right? Like when you play Bucky, there's like teams that will go Bucky just as like a panic pick for sure. Like, because it always feels good, right? When you're playing ranked, you're like,
that's what you calm every time. Someone go Bucky.
Someone go Bucky. Yeah, but exactly. But the problem is, when you go Bucky, you're pigeonholed into playing that composition. Like, hopefully you figured something out to help build around it. But maybe that's when you start to add the Iron Fist, the Luna Snow. When you think of the ban phase, you don't want to think. This is what Trust Me said, by the way. So it's not coming from just me. It's also coming from the player who just won on stage.
No, I love this. Yeah.
Trust Me was saying how you don't think about the ban phase one hero at a time. You think about the overall picture.
What do you want your team to look like? Yeah. Or do you not want the enemy team to look like?
Exactly. That's great. So you have to think about getting rid of certain things, prioritizing certain things, and also, like you said, maybe focusing on yourself first and foremost. But you can't just think about what hero to pick because they're good. You have to think about why they're good and the overarching reasons that maybe you want to play Bucky to play counter dive, but you need to have more heroes with it. But maybe in the current patch, anti-dive isn't very good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious how that is going to change in the future. I mean, like you mentioned the Iron Fist team up being, good for Luna. I do agree, anti-dive, but it's a little easier when it's a strategist that is able to give you that team up, right? So when the Warlock coming in, then you just have your backline switch and problem solved. At least it seems like it's going to be a very strong team up. I'm looking forward to seeing how this all plays out coming up here over the next next week, I believe. So it is.
Next week.
Yeah, this is just, I'm very excited to the change up. I love how Rivals does that. Can't preach that enough, but look at the teams here. Rad looking very locked in. You mentioned the young guys being a little more quiet, docile, still locked. As you see that right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Fate's a bit more of a reserve guy. I feel like on
great
the outside.
Great Jeff, though.
Great Jeff. Yeah, absolutely a great Jeff. But he's a very talkative guy. He loves to hang out and just be, amongst the legends in which that he is, right, at the moment. Like a lot of these guys who are new to the scene coming in, they all deserve their flowers, right? Everybody here that has maybe not competed in hero shooters before or even been involved in the scene, all the casters who are still, coming into it and veterans in your own right and other things, but it's definitely everybody deserves their flowers for showing up, being at this event for the first time, and because this is a big deal.
Yeah, agreed. This is where you cement yourself as a legend, right? Like if you take home this, or at least you place well in this tournament, that is etched in history, right? Like you don't want to be the team that goes home early. No matter what, you're still getting a piece of the pie. But this early on in the infancy of the game, this is where fans are born. Fandom is born. Teams are starting to get liked. This is where everybody has their eye on these teams. Maybe they want to, join in or sponsor or have their back. And that kind of stuff is massive for the team, for the sport. And I do think that these guys are trying to be one of those people.
I guarantee you there's so many Western fans looking at OO3 just because of the name. I mean, just like 100% there's players who are becoming fans of all of these players as well. Bobo. Because
looks good, too.
Oh, yeah. He is a handsome man. And so is the side of...
I meant on Starwood.
Okay.
Touche.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Going down the wrong path there. But I think that this team, in terms of Nova, they have a lot to look at right now. Back of the drawing boards. Shib, we will be here until the 10th, I believe, right? So... And we fly home, obviously, the next day, and that's going to be very sad because I'm already so excited.
Too fun.
This is going to be over in a snap. I was telling Shib before this, I was like, these events, man, I mean, they just go over in a blink of an eye, and it's very sad because it's so much fun.
Time flies.
Yep, time flies when you're having fun, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we are, it's just a whole nother level being here. I love this event. I think NetEase did a great job putting this together so, effectively. It's such high production quality. It's blowing my mind. But as we do look again, Vaughn, that is one of the best Magnetos in the game. But we're seeing here slowly that maybe not as diverse of a hero pool. Still looked pretty good out there on the Strange. Had some good final hits and definitely had some good all potential.
And this is what we're talking about. No matter how mechanically skilled you are, if you're having to do stuff like that, you're already behind.
Agreed.
Because they played the Star-Lord, they played the Doctor Strange.
And that's why we're seeing less Strange, I think. You need to have the ability to have somebody else swap Strange.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, that's a good point, So,
and that's brutal because I love playing Strange. But I do think that at this
he's
at
like a
this
comfort
point,
pick kind of for people, right?
For sure. I mean, he is your standard Vanguard, right? Has a large 800, I believe, shield. I got to double check. I remember again.
It's something you can do in ranked, right? If you're just playing a ranked game, you're just not comfortable on Vanguards. Like I have to go Doctor Strange because it's the only one I'm comfortable on. That's fine, but not not here at the professional level, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I would argue that things like Groot, now that they're taking a little more of a forward seat in the meta, Strange comes back, right? Shields are Strange's issue with Eye, and not having Eye with Thing, with Groot still playable, very playable
we just saw
heroes.
him, yeah.
It gives that all much more value, so it does bring him back. And then obviously the change recently where his Maelstrom or his E does not have damage fall off, so it does help his ultimate get a ton of damage burst. So a lot of positive changes to Strange, definitely viable. But at this level of play, they like to have the ability to teleport back or guarantee the teleport back.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a lot of things there that sort of add up. And I think when we watched our North American region, right, when we saw a team like Shroud X, rest in peace, what happened to them is that, you know, they put, I think, some of their players onto Star-Lord, and it looked good because it was a comfort pick, right? These guys were so good at playing Star-Lord in the most compositions, but when you don't play with the triple res, it does feel so much worse, right? Like, because if you go down on Star-Lord, like, Star-Lord's playstyle is almost built around Adam Warlock, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
aggressive.
I'm so curious what happens in the upcoming patch that you talked about earlier, because, like, half the playstyle is going in and, I mean, I hate to say it, it's going down, getting KO'd, and then coming back with the res, and now that's gone.
Well, there is the new addition. So they do have now, he will have a teleporter. So he will be able to join, but it requires Rocket on the team. So that's the other trade-off where who knows how it's going to work. Can place a portal or a teleportal, and it has, from my understanding, based on the feedback I saw from the streamers, it has no range limitation. So you can essentially play hyper aggro right near, place it right near a health pack, go in hyper aggro, have Magneto bubble you, play like crazy, teleport out as soon as you're done. So there is going to be, it's crazy, dude.
That's insane,
There's so much coming, so exciting. I'm stoked to see that.
Yeah, I mean, we're changing things every month.
I love it.
That's crazy. Make sure to come back through when you can see our roadmap, by the way, online. Season 3.5, I believe, right? So that's insane, man. All the new skins and stuff, too. So many changes coming out. And that reminded me, I was going to say something I completely forgot because I was just staring at beautiful eyes. And I completely forgot what I was going to talk about. It was something along the lines of... no,
You're good. Just the new team ups in general, I think, is where we left off. But I mean, I am excited to see how the rest pan out. Like I said, see the meta shift. I think the consistent patches of once a month, right? Like that is crazy, if not more. I mean, more so the seasonal patches, right? With 3-5-3, and then a little 4-4-5. Excited to see the heroes are announced. We haven't even got Blade yet. I can't wait to see Blade. Blade looks insane.
Yeah.
I love the sharpest hero. That cracks me up. That ultimate with anti-heal now being a part of the game. There is so much stuff coming into this game and changes to the meta and new, like, just foundational ways of playing. I just can't wait for it.
Oh my God. I can't either, man. I literally can't either. I think you got maybe a little bit of a sneak peek on that stuff.
I was here.
I know.
I was enabled.
You were enabled.
That's it.
Fan phase, man.
Yeah, we've got Mantis off the rip from Rad, but interesting. Nova electing to ban Torch instead, which is surprising to me, and getting rid of the cap.
They're getting rid of the Captain America.
Ooh, there we go.
The Magneto ban as well. What would you notice?
Oh, I thought they were. Oh, excuse me. I thought honestly I saw Nova ban the Mag, but Rad instead locking in on the. Or excuse me. Yeah, I saw Rad ban the Mag. Excuse me, my fault. But
so that is interesting. They're focusing on the Loki, and this is what we talked. I was talking to Trust Me in the hallway. This is probably what he's focusing on. He said some heroes are map specific.
Yeah.
Some heroes are not good on certain maps, and in the last map in Domination, you know more than anybody. Loki on Domination, maybe not as good because.
Sure.
You know, you know where he's going to go.
Placement,
he's always close by. But when we go to a map like Aegis of Path, you can see where Trust Me's coming from, and that Loki on this map is a lot stronger.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, just placements alone of what you can do with Loki crystals on the first point is insane.
Yep. As
we push into map 2, will Nova be able to clutch this up and go to game 3, or will it be held and shut down by Rad? On the second map on Yggdrasil's path, this choice is going to be on the side of Nova as they are attacking off the rip here. Composition, going to have that Strange still. Ooh, going to be on. Ooh, I like the flyer play here as they have flyer. Oh, they are going to do the portal. I love this strategy. Using the Punisher portal on the back end to force them forward, but unfortunately, Setsun got a great LOS.
No, they just walk on forward, right? That was a good rotation. That's what we're talking about. I mean, they already did force out early cooldowns from Rad Esports, but man, that was a good rotation from the side of Rad to get away from all that backline damage. And nobody's gone down yet because of how much value Fate's having on Loki.
Yeah, great positioning here. We talked about the clone placement, right? You can actually put him on some high line angles. You can put him on the right side there and just force his eyes to the left. If you see Loki clones, please break them. Just trust me, it will vastly enable your team to play more aggressively, and it will vastly reduce the amount of healing on the opposition. Melio here, gonna match it right back with the Ultrons. We're gonna see, ooh, actually switch here from Nova almost completely. A lot of changes. Yek's gonna be on the Venom. Ooh, woo! Gonna shut down. Trust me though. And that is, we talked about the Bucky coming out, of course. We see it. And more Cloak. We haven't seen a lot of Cloak yet.
No, a little bit, yeah. And they're running the triple again, the triple with the triple strategist with the Ultron alongside the Mantis backline for the peel, as well as the healing for your divers. So already here comes that Psylocke ultimate ready to go. The Greens are forced out. Fate goes down.
Oh, Bobo with one Naga onto Ghost, though, to try to even those numbers, and they do. Rajaro onto Clem. Melio with a two-piece on Uwu to finish it up, trying to find another good retake by Rad to hold on.
And this is the tough part of holding Psylocke, right? Once cooldowns are used, Bobo found one, obviously, on the backside from Uwu in the spawn camp, but because Rad is playing such a mobile composition, because Trust Me was found early, it doesn't matter. I mean, Venom is one of the fastest characters in the game at getting back to the cart, so playing objective so well is that side. Only losing Fate as well. Good split up, I think, from Rad Esports there, as they already have 2 minutes off the clock. This is looking similar to the Envy game earlier.
And we start again, ult advantage heavily on the side of Nova. The tackle goes out. Trust Me, just trying to bait out cooldowns. Does see the, oh, that's great bubble placement there. It is gonna hold on. Ooh, match right back, but no. The Eternal Bond keeping the team healthy, and that is going to be a cooldown traded. Well done from both sides, want to stay healthy. Melio still holding on tight. Rajaro goes down from Clem. Following up on the Eternal Bond again, play hyper aggro. If you are playing Cloak and you launch that ultimate, don't be afraid to stay in damage mode and allow your healing to do his job as Ghost and Bobo trade right back. Trust Me goes down. Will they keep holding? Looking really good here. They need to press forward as there's only a minute 30 on the clock. Great crystals, goes in Viz, gets popped early. Yexin gonna clean out Fate.
Yeah, nice clean plays by them and Rad, and luckily for them, they don't have to worry about res, but they do have to worry about this portal coming back from Trust Me. They have ultimates ready to go. Can Nova react with Ghost and that Fate of the Worlds?
Very good patience by Nova, though, in terms of overutilization. Clem, the only one popping ult in that entire exchange, and now they have 5 ready. Ghost gonna use the dance floor. Will we see a damage boost combination here with the Venom, potentially, or the Psionic? Good tackle, Bobo! Gonna find Melio. Ooh, onto Trust Me. They're up 2 numbers now. 3 ults get popped. Bond goes up in the sky, but the Meteor Ram doesn't land. Ooh, holding on to that Kraken impact. Everyone's walking. Make that 3. Rajaro. The Psionic seduction. Just walking everyone to their KO as Naga tries to chase down.
Man, what a play there by Rad. I mean, Rajaro, like you mentioned, came back through. Fate, by the way, swapping over to Adam Warlock to help support level 1 Crook on the Mantis, give themselves those resurrections. Fate no longer off on the Loki, giving up on that hero who is seen as such a strong one to give themselves that team up in Rajaro, like you said, huge ult.
Start another fight here as they do press forward. Nova is trying to get back out, forced backwards, and we will see a retake again. Ooh, still holding on to this Kraken impact. This needs to get launched quickly here before the team gets those ultimates back. Bobo gonna find Naga, and that is massive. Oh, Uwu gets Fate, still holding on. There it is, the Kraken impact goes, oh, that's 1 as Rajaro falls. Do I see more? Up we go, bang! Does not land. Fate gonna res back up. Bobo gonna find level 1. Fate right back into Uwu. What a play there by Fate. Very clean on the Warlock animation. Cancel to find some value. Yexin gonna take out Fate now with no res, and that should be .1. Finally, Nova able to walk this thing through NOT.
And this is interesting. You know, we heard about Nova Esports, how aggressive of a team they are. They have not been able to play aggressive. They've been more of a counter dive team like we saw earlier, coming back through, able to take down those divers, coming through on the top side, knowing where both Fate and Naga were. Shut down by Bobo, shut down by Uwu with a nice headshot on Bucky, and it's going to be so hard to stay alive. Versus Fate's also now over to the Jeff, so we're looking at the exact same comp except minus the Star-Lord for Rad Esports.
Yeah, Jeff back in the field again. The triple strategist line is there. And there is no ban on Star-Lord. They're elected to just not use it at this point. Out we go with the Feast. Doesn't find too much value. Way to escape there by Yexin. Still holding on to the point. Just going to stall as long as possible. Try to build some ultimates up. Trust Me does have the Feast, though. We know how strong they can be as Bobo make it 3. Yexin cleans up. Bobo is different here on the dance of the Cutterfly. Do I see 4 with the chase down? Will they get it done? No. The res is not going to be used. I believe they will be canceled and start again. You got a minute 30 on the clock.
Well, Trust Me just found 2 on the back line. They're losing everybody, but oh my gosh, knock out this guy to Bobo. He talked about this guy, man. He's freaky with it.
Bobo is showcasing some power here on the sidelock, looking very fluid. Great position, great patience, and honestly, just great connections, great tracking on those shots. Bobo with a bunch of headies. As I say that, down goes Melio, Bobo from Melio, as they're going to walk them back to the spawn door. Great retake. Didn't get a ton of space there from the cart, but that's why they just have raw speed here for the side. Oh my goodness, by Rad. Jeff has a ton. Will they be able to get there?
No.
Only movement from Venom, so Venom should make it back. Yep.
So Bucky.
Oh, Bucky with the jump back.
He killed. Wait, he got rid of Naga.
Interesting.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Fate threw Melio off.
Wait.
I don't know if Fate knew, if I'm being completely honest. Or maybe, you know, just pure confidence. Or I have no idea.
No, that was a mistake. It must have been. Maybe he doesn't have a bound or something. That's crazy that you would throw off your own teammate. That's like that's a quick play thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe there'll be an interview question. We'll have to hear about that. But, you know, at that point, at this point, they just need to win the fight, or that will be something to talk about. And they go right back heavy, and Melio's already here. So it ended up not being too much of an issue. Still was able to trade a few. Maybe that's the argument. It was an even trade. Ghost going to find Melio. Rajaro onto Yexin, though. Excuse me, Yexin onto Rajaro. They are still walking. Just trying to hold here from Trust Me. Ultimate advantage heavily with Nova, who are looking much better here on this map. Trust Me, though, onto Bobo. Melio going to res back and still hold on. Trust Me frozen. That was the problem last time. Out we go again with that butterfly. Doesn't get a pick. Everyone's stacking. Great play. Kraken impact goes out. Does it land? It does not. It does, but will they follow up with Meteor M to reset? And they are not able to hit it. And it allows them to hold on. A lot of ultimates there with not a ton of value.
Yeah, the thing is they're not making mistakes here on the inside angle. Until now Clem goes down. There's too much pressure. The cooldown's used, and they're all flanked. Here comes another Jeff ultimate.
Trust Me with one. Bobo gonna find Crook, but still up in numbers is the side of Rad. And there's one picked here from Fate. Will it throw Magneto off? I believe it will land, as Magneto does not have that ultimate to get back to the battlefield. Melio gonna find one again. Numbers back in their favor. Still holding on a point, just stalling for days. Yexin just trying to hold on. Naga keeping that space away. Melio gonna find Yexin, and that should do it, unless we see some sort of teleport. Ooh, on the teleport, I believe it does go through, as they should be on the back side. Now they are. Yeah, the teleport does go through. Held on tight, though. Train just holding that shield on the right side, not allowing people to press through. Trust Me, gonna find Uwu, and that could do it. It does.
Yeah, I think that was, man, that was so fun, so interesting out of Rad Esports there to swap over to that comp fully. I mean, give up on the Loki stuff. You could see that maybe they kind of threw out the window, understanding that the map was probably good for the Loki on first point on the very beginning.
Sure.
But swapping over to the Jeff stuff yet again to get the hold in the second phase of the map. And I think maybe to go over to the Jeff teammate elimination, I'm assuming it's probably because like he wants to get, you know, to the coast as fast as possible.
Sure.
So you're like, I just got to keep holding on to you, buddy. I'm sorry. But I got to get there to throw these guys off the map. Shows up, accidentally takes his own teammate's life.
No, I do think you're right. I think that's exactly what it was. He was down to the wire, and you know he knew Venom was getting back. He was trying to get a two-piece trade 2-for-1, and that's exactly what was happening. But
it's so
still
funny.
The Bucky punch was just perfect.
He threw off Melio, right?
Yeah. Melio got back for the next fight, though. But
he did. That's like that's the last guy you want to throw off, right? Because both.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's what you called it out. You said how like everybody has mobility there.
Sure.
That got thrown off on the other team. Melio's the one guy who doesn't because he's Adam Warlock.
Usually, when you have time with Jeff, if you are right on the edge, that speed of the initial propulsion, if you're looking straight down, won't allow the punchback from. But he just couldn't get there in time. It's not like you're wrong. You're absolutely correct. It was just way too far. So at that point, it's worth probably throwing your teammate and just hoping that you get somebody else. They still they cleaned up. I think the comms are more so follow me and you'll at least get another. And I think I had to double check on the replay. I think when they punched back, they were taken out immediately.
See, that's the thing. Maybe we got to add for Jeff. Maybe you give like instead of throwing your to maybe nerf griefing on Jeff. Maybe give him a blowhole, you know? Maybe give him a blowhole at the top.
That might be too much.
That might be too much. Make sure your teammates can live instead of being able to spit them off the map with the same mouth.
Jeff is, you know, it's funny to see him played at this level so consistently, but goes to show you Jeff is still playable. I do think it's very difficult to find value, but running triple like this, especially with this Guardians comp, Jeff is absolutely viable because you have Bond and you have triple just to kind of keep the team healthy. Rajaro gonna find Bobo though, and that's one Naga looking up towards the Venom. Does it collapse? No. Still chasing, gets stuck there on the edge just slightly. Good retaking, good repositioning, but still holding them. And Rad is just walking them on point one and setting up for the next fight.
I mean, it's an unbelievable amount of pressure right now. They're trying to play the
that's a tough Jeff spot.
It's a tough Jeff spot, too, yeah, in the main side, too. I mean, this is going to be so hard for Nova to retake here.
Yeah, I mean, if you just spray your line down. Ooh, but Clem with a great blind. Down goes Fate. Trust Me, gonna find Ghost. Even down. Bobo onto Naga, trying to retake this point and get those ults in time. Clem does have the Eternal Bond, and down we go towards the back line again. Bond goes out. Team will stay healthy. Wow, what a good Bond from Warlock. In return, Jeff does it. Oh! Are you kidding me? Fate with a 4-piece right to the side. Will he jump with? Yes, he will. Fate with 4, and that should give them point 1.
Oh my goodness, what an eat by Fate. Entire team sent back to the spawn, man. Shit, what a play. We haven't seen that yet.
Are you kidding me?
That was crazy, man. Unbelievable from Fate. 5 minutes left to go in the second phase of the map. Now Rad also saving on the ultimates because of it. I mean, it was so efficient. Just 4 in the mouth, off the map, they went.
Yeah, I have fear for how many Jeffs we will see in ladder after this tournament. Fate, what have you done to us? Fate is different. That was so smart, so patient. Honestly, maybe crowded by the noise of the ultimates. I'm not quite sure how he got so many off this level play, but it was beautiful. Meteor M goes out, does not collide. Up we go with Galactic Legend and the dance, but it gets matched by another dance as Vaughn finds Fate. Vaughn doing a good job, doing a ton of damage and not missing onto Jeff, which is a difficult task. Trust me, goes down from Vaughn again. Vaughn looking really good on his comfort pick. Make that 2 more. Vaughn is built different. Bobo gonna clean up the rest. Oh, psych, as the rest comes in.
Yep, Rez coming back into it now, and now they're actually going to use the speed boost from Jeff as well, from Majaro. They're able to avoid it, though, and actually take down level 1 Crook, who has to use the self-res, so all cooldowns gone. Nova actually put themselves in a decent spot, but they have no ultimates. Neither does Rad.
That's kind of slept on. The speed boost Psionic Seduction from Emma. That's actually kind of crazy. It didn't work there, but I like that idea a lot. Trust me, gonna find Uwu. Bobo back to level 1 Crook. Bobo is looking so good in this map, finding so much value without even ults. Obviously using ults to force out strategist line cooldowns, but nobody has ult yet. Gonna be very close to an even spread here on the final fight of this point. I say that, psych, I lied. There's still a final fight if you're on defense because it's right there, but 3 minutes 30 on the clock. Yexin and Bobo, they're all stepping up now. Nova does not want to go home, or at least go down to the lower side of the bracket just yet. Yexin on a Rajaro.
Nova are so good at living. I feel like the pressure from Rad is unbelievable. And this is what I noticed as well when we watch their scrims from Nova. This team is so good at peel jobs when they need to, right? To come back, to stay alive, regroup as a unit. And I mean, it's just so clean. It's so high level from them.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Fate does have ult ready, trust me, as well. They will see matched actually an advantage on the side of Nova. Yexin with an early pick, that is very big. Especially prior to a fight like this when you're 96% to an ultimate. That's going to force a reset from the team. You'll see them be patient. Please do that in ladder. Drop back if you're down a number if you have the time. No reason to waste more time with staggering. Well played and great decision making by Rad, but that is second nature to them at this point. Here we go with the engagement. You typically only want to engage with that, with the movement cooldowns if you have ultimate up so you can have double shield. It buys you enough time to get it back at the end. Naga goes and tries to find one just barely. Not able to find it. Great positioning by the back line and very intelligent to find a way out and force a cooldown out without using much. Another good eat by Fate. And it does manage to grab the Venom on his side, but it's going to just kind of buy some time and try to give them an advantage in the fight.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. Take him out for now, at least allowing level 1 Hook to find Uwu, and now they're coming back in, going aggressive with Rosario can to cap this last point.
And out goes Psionic again. Dance floor is matched on a point. Team staying healthy. We still have Yex in here with the Feast. Just going to use that to stall if possible if need be. Bobo with a pick. Melio going to res. Level 1 Crook. Remember, Warlock, if you walk forward, you are the beacon for the res. It is not the placement of the location of that beacon. It is your hero. So walk forward, Vaughn. Going to find Fate. Rajaro, trust me, with a 2-piece. Numbers back in their favor once again. Now it's not, though, as Yexin takes Melio. Are the portals coming out with a minute 40? There will not be a portal reset. It's a 3-minute cooldown.
Yeah, is that too early then?
Might be.
Oh no, are they gonna even come back then? Yeah, level 1 Crook's gonna have to swap back. That's a good call out. I mean, they teleport in. Wait, they want to close it out here right now, but Bobo, level 1 Crook's going a little bit too far.
This is I'm sure it's, here we go. Yexin going to try to find some value here. Very low on both sides of the strategist, and they pay for it. I don't know if that portal was worth it. They will not have it for the end here. They're going to have to reset as a team and try this again. Got to get an ult fight working. Nova looking clean right now, showing up when they need to on this defense with a minute and 16 on the clock.
Yeah, the peel, the healing from Uwu going over to Adam Warlock with the Ultron. They can't be dove upon as easily. So this change is working so well for Nova. On top of the fact, like you called, all Vaughn, Bobo, and Yexin are all problems for Rad right now.
And here we go again on the next fight. We do have the It's Jeff ready. Yes, that is the name of the ultimate. And the Galactic Legend level 1 finds Yexin early. Jeff gonna try to find a few in the back line. It does! 2 strategists is huge. Walk away Ultron. Gonna shut it down. Clem is different. What a good decision. Way to hold on and saving out of that Meteor and instead electing to use Ultron's Rage. Very good decision as it does allow some eat there, but it didn't find much value. Vaughn falling low. Rajaro finds one. Holy, back and forth we go. Uwu gonna res up here on Vaughn. Trust me, gonna take Ghost. Uwu onto Ghost again. Right back in they go. Nova staying healthy. Will we be able to keep on to the point here with Vaughn? Yes, they are so far. Bobo onto Naga. This is so back and forth, folks. The res goes out.
But grabbed. Oh my goodness. Stop for now. Bobo also slept, but they can't shut him down. Chip, they've not been able to take down the problem. Nova with Bobo is disgusting, but Naga finally takes down Clem.
Are you kidding me? Rajaro now. Rad might close this out right now. 3 seconds on the clock. They look like they will. Wow, what a defense, but no, it does not matter. Rad wins this map and puts Nova into the loser bracket.
what a performance from Rad. And honestly, shout out to both teams. That was beautiful play from Nova to, against all odds towards the very end, make those swaps, right? That's the big thing we talk about. If this was not just the best out of 3,
they looked so good, dude.
I wonder what would happen in the next map. And, we'll see if they can make it out of the play-ins. Maybe even later go back and look at it, because a BO3 is not a lot of time to make adjustments.
Agreed. I think they looked like a much better team there towards the end. And strangely, they didn't change the bans up. Maybe they were more afraid of something that they saw, whether it was scrims or they know of. Because I do think they just let that happen again with the Guardians Cup. I'm not saying it was necessarily what forced the loss or made them lose, but strange decision there. I'm not sure exactly what that is for, unless they just consistently keep bans that way. But wow, that was a battle, and Nova almost did it.
Man, and well, you know what? That was a great game to watch and see. Who these players even are, right? When we go back and look at Nova, we talked about how hard it is to even watch these guys in the West. Now they've made a name for themselves, right? They're beating. They had a close series with one of the best teams here. People talk about how good Rad is.
Sure.
Pretty much all the Asia region teams, whether it be China, whether it be from Korea, they talk about how good Rad Esports is right now. So they're not just a play-in team, like you said with Envy earlier.
Yeah.
So Nova looked really good despite everything that happened, despite losing 2-0.
And they ran that most crazy, unique composition. I love the Jeff pick with Guardians. Guardians is incredibly strong right now. Do not get it twisted, but the Jeff decision with the speed boost, not necessarily needing Magneto, using the Venom to just follow up on everything, the spins and the speed. It's so difficult to escape. I mean, that was awesome. Mantis, obviously, for damage boost, for the Eat, for that Feast of the Abyss. They just looked really, really good. But Nova, I liked what they really adapted. They just could not shut it down.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Rad Esports definitely a team that is so good right now. I mean, they're just going to be definitely a force to be reckoned with, and we're going to see them versus Envy coming up later. Yeah, man, and we get to see also on the opposite side Gen G versus Nova. So we're going to see that China versus Korea matchup, and on the opposite side we're going to see EU versus North America. So that's going to be a lot of fun later on in the day, man, to see who qualifies and who gets in to the main event in the main stage.
Yeah, I love that. It's only something you can see right here in the mid-season finale. This is beautiful and a ton of fun to watch. But yeah, I mean, while we're still here, because obviously we're going to be transitioning casters over the next patch, who do you think takes home the next 2 maps?
Man,
I'm throwing you on the spot.
The next 2 maps?
I think that, or excuse me, the next 2 matchups.
Right, so we got Rad versus Envy later on. I got to go with Envy, I think. Rad looks really good, but there is some stuff they need to work on. That's the difference. Maybe on the opposite side, maybe they played against a potentially easier lineup, with Gen G maybe having a hard time so far adapting. Because Nova looked pretty damn good. Yeah. So realistically, like, I would maybe want to actually, I'm changing my bet actually. I'm going to go with Rad. I'm going to go Rad. I'm changing it up. I'll talk myself into it. Just because of how strong of an opponent Nova looked like they were. Sure. The fact that Rad was able to get done, I think there were some things they need to work on for sure. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I feel like Rad actually probably wins that series. But what do you think on that one in that matchup?
See, I think if a team can handle the obscure comps, or or at least understand the banning phase, I do think it would be Envy that would be able to handle that. But Rad looked incredible, but I'm going to stick to my guns. I have to say Envy.
And both teams, every team still has a chance to qualify.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. So, even if they lose that, the 2 winner sides of the bracket, obviously, for those, but those who maybe didn't understand, whoever wins that match will immediately be in out of the play-in stage, but then that loser will go down and play the winner of the winners, or the losers, excuse me.
Right, so it's going to be a lot still going on. No team sent home just yet.
Not just yet.
Until we see that Gen G versus Nova matchup, man. And that's going to be brutal.
Crazy teams to have to send home.
Already. Yeah, that's insane that we have to send one of those teams home. I know Nova, they did play really well. I think I've earned a lot of respect for them. I don't know about you. I mean, for sure. And I think Rad, I mean, we already know how good they are, so that's kind of why I don't talk about them maybe enough. Because this whole team, as a cohesive unit, they look really good. And, they have very unique strategies, like you said, with the Jeff stuff, the 3-2-1 speed boost stuff that they kind of do. There's a lot of sort of momentum shifting things. The pressure that they had was so much. The fact that somehow Nova was holding on when there was that much pressure on them, right? With all the Adam Warlock soul bonds, with the Jeff speed boost and stuff, with those Jeff eats. The fact they were living for as long as they did is absolutely crazy. But that goes to show the pressure of that triple strategist composition with the Jeff and with that Adam Warlock.
Yeah, the only issue I see with the side of Rad was not banning that out. I mean, if you're not going to match it right back. The triple, right? Is that what you're mentioning? Or?
Yeah, for Nova. Yeah.
Like, that's just in my. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, on the side. But I mean, I do think that. I don't know. I think there needs to be a change. I think we need to see some adapt. I think we need to see these teams just harness. We saw some confidence come back. I think that's super important. But yeah, we go into these now now that it's getting a little more crucial to win, it's going to be a whole nother level of play.
For sure. And I think it was sort of an interesting approach as well that they banned the Magneto round number 1, or map number 1. Didn't value it as much in the next one, right? They let Vaughn just play his comfort pick.
They weren't worried, which is awesome, right? I think that's a sign of confidence. And Vaughn is really good on Magneto. You saw the tracking there on Jeff a few times. Obviously, Jeff can be difficult to hit, especially with the speed boost in that Finn form. So really clean, looked really impressive. But I think we need to see some changes in the structure of the bans, and maybe things will change up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think, and at least in terms of what you're going to play, at least change it in the game, like they did towards the end. I think Nova adapted. When we watched Gen G, we didn't see many adaptations. I think, unfortunately, or adaptations rather. When we look at Gen G later on, unfortunately, I don't know about you, but I feel like they looked like the weakest team we've seen so far. Is that a fair statement?
I would agree. Either that or Envy looks like the strongest. I do think that performance, there was a lot of mistakes. Being down ult advantage from Gen G, they were not converting, or being up in ult advantage and not converting was a problem. But I just have yet to see, and I'm sure the audience may have an opinion on it, but I've yet to see if that's a downside for Gen G or an upside for Envy. And that's something we're going to learn over these tournaments. I need to see, and we all need to see these teams in curious positions, doing things against weird comps, for example, or when the ban is heavily targeted to somebody that maybe has a lesser hero pool. I know these teams are working on these pools and trying to have other compositions they can pull out, but if you really hard focus somebody, it can be detrimental. If there's a weak link, you exploit it. If you're down a number every single time, you're going to win every fight.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, we'll find out very soon how the side of Envy is going to look later. Same thing with Gen G. Maybe it was, like you said, just Envy being such a dominant team, so good right now. So that's going to be insane. Like, imagine that we watch this series and then we somehow see Rad and Envy in the finals later on, and we get it in the play-in stage. Like,
that would be awesome.
That would be crazy. You know, we'll see what happens. Obviously, things can change, but. From everything we've heard behind the scenes in terms of Scrimbucks, which everybody knows is not the end-all be-all.
No.
But, I mean, both teams, at least visually, look very good out there.
Yeah, I mean, the story is just being written, right? We're going to see storylines being developed right now. Obviously, these teams have, past, and we love pulling from the past and seeing what they're going to do. But at a land like this, the story is just being written. We're going to see teams lose down early, come back and clutch up. We've seen that a few times in the tournament. We talk about how the margin of skill between these teams is paper thin. It's really anyone showing up on any day. And that's why it is so fun to watch. And that's why there are so many fans for various teams, because every team is performing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I want to see the next match as well when we get to see.
We're going to be here for that. We got to watch it.
We got to watch it. I mean, we'll be in the crowd definitely for sure watching that, as we have Mello and our boy Liger behind the scenes going to come up and take on over once we swap out of there. We also, I'm sure Cozy's getting ready on stage. It looks like that's Fate actually coming up. That's going to be fun for the interview on stage. And
Silent No More.
Silent No More. We're going to finally hear him, and that's going to be us probably setting it off in a second as we go back to them and change out the casters later on, man. I'm so excited to see what Fate says. Yeah, I think we're going to learn a bit about Jeff here. I have a strange feeling that we will. But you see, again, trust me, we talk about the big brain, right? Again, taking that MVP 36K damage block is obscene. It's obscene for sure. And the biggest thing with Trust Me is this guy always, to me, seemed like a very mechanically skilled player. He is, yeah. Absolutely. And you could see it in the match that we had in terms of the damage. This guy is always, to me, the guy that I look out for as a super, super mechanically skilled Vanguard player. And the fact that he has evolved and added that sort of in-game leader status, that person that controls the ebb and flow of the game, that cannot be understated how hard that is to macro your team. You have good communication and ranked and stuff, but how can you talk about how hard it is to maybe talk and also be that mechanically skilled player on Vanguard? Yeah, I think it's dependent on team comp. In ladder, it is good to have an IGL, right? Yeah. IGL finds success with certain teams like Rad, where they do have a leader. For those who don't know IGL, you may have heard this term in the past. It essentially means there's one leader of comms. It doesn't necessarily mean leader of the team, anything like that. Or so, just trust what they say and try to commit to it as a team. And that is what Trust Me does for this team. A lot of other teams will have more diverse comms, where it's more so everybody speaks up. There's maybe leaders that speak more, but it's more open. But when it comes to this team, Trust Me is very much consistently having that conversation, hoping that everyone commits to it, and just thinking about every possibility. I don't know how it's possible to have that kind of brain and still be that mechanically skilled, but it's a combination of everything for this man. I mean, he's so gifted genetically, on top of the fact that he is so passionate for Marvel Rivals. I mean, every chance this guy has, he will be talking about the game. We'll obviously talk about everybody else on the team too. There's not just him. Naga was popping off on Psylocke, going back and forth with Bobo, who we talked about a lot. Naga was also doing very similar things on those dives alongside Trust Me. So it's that combination, that tandem of the two. And then the back line. I mean, it wasn't just, the thing is when we talk about back line,
it is so slept on, yeah.
So slept on for sure.
Level 1 Crooks, Mantis. I can't believe they're still letting that Mantis through, in my opinion. That needs to go. We saw a ton of Melio reses that were massive. And then we don't even mention Fate, who will be having this interview here shortly. Look at this right here. 4-piece is so beautiful.
They didn't replay the one where he took his own teammate out.
Well, I think it's oh, no, it's not later.
No, that was earlier. They're hiding it. They're saving him.
Yeah, got to hold on to that.
Never happened.
The team's going to show that one later. But
I wonder if Cozy will bring it up. Probably not. He probably doesn't want to piss off Fate. Fate comes out the interview, he just punches Cozy.
Yeah, right.
He's like, why would you bring that up, man?
No, but that was disgusting. And just great off-map angle there, being very close. It just had plenty of time. And then at that point, when you have that many of the enemy, you just commit to falling off the map and getting KO'd yourself, because that trade is just so worth it. You don't want to give a chance for anyone to be able to climb back, especially if somebody in the next match, with Venom may have easy swing bound. As long as you hit that button, you'll be out. But there is that res we're talking about from Melio, doing a great job keeping the team healthy. And honestly, this fight right here was everything. Obviously, it's the last 10 seconds of the game, so that's very self-explanatory. But more so, Nova was heavily up in ults. They just could not stop. And when they did make a play, Melio rested the team back and no one went down. And instead, Rajaro with a 3-piece there. Gorgeous. Crook finding a pick. Really well played.
Absolutely really well played. They locked in for sure. So, dude, that was like, the whole meme where somebody's sitting back in the chair relaxing.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it's, getting serious, 3 minutes left in the streets phase, gamer posture. Full forward, dude.
Yeah.
They were
smell the screen.
They smell the screen, dude.
Yeah.
Smell the sweat there, smell the spit that you obviously had earlier. But that, man, what a series. That was so
us
much
casting
fun.
today. You know what I mean? During those games, man, I was inside.
You were spitting everywhere, dude. Chips, saliva, bottling eye bottles everywhere. Keeping it home, selling it on eBay later on. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it would be free. Freemium. But, man, what a fun series. There were 2-0s, right?
Yep.
That did not feel like a 2-0 at least. That last game it felt like ages, and I think that is what we're trying to see here, seeing the teams bounce back. I do agree, Gen G didn't step up in that moment, but teams, and you like to talk about this a lot, I think it needs to be talked about, have weaknesses. It isn't always this team is better. Some teams just play better into each other, and that's based on their comfort picks and their compositional changes, just who they feel like they can run, or even if they just understand their opposition more. That stuff all comes into play, and it's never black and white like that.
No, yeah, it's all about finding holes, finding the weaknesses in your opponents, what heroes maybe they're not as strong at. So we'll see, obviously, when that pops up later on, man. But yeah, it's been so much fun. There's so much more to go. That's the big thing.
Yeah, we're going to learn over the tournament about that. They're all going to learn. They're watching these games too.
This is still early days. We're still early on in the tournament, in the play-in stage. Coming up is going to be the potential eliminations. We're going to go to the stage interviewing Fate with Cozy.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the post-match interview. We just saw Team Rad defeat the hometown hero here in Nova Esports, and I'm joined by the team captain, Fate. Hey, this is your the first LAN, and this moment has built up to so much. What does it mean to you to come out here, and how do you feel?
I mean, we feel so good. The stage, everything is unbelievable. The setup, it's so unreal. I think we're very happy that we get to participate in this tournament, and we're going to prove that by making sure we win it.
Well, I think Rad is known for their diverse lineups, and we saw a lot of Jeff, the baby land shark. I know you viewers always love a good Jeff game. And we saw your own teammate go off the map, and also 4 enemies going off the map and clutching wins with it. Tell me about Symbiotic's shenanigans and how that helps you out while you use it, and talk about Jeff into your team.
Yeah, I think Jeff is a very underrated hero. The team up is very strong, and there's a lot of tech towards Jeff that a lot of people don't really understand yet. So I think he's a very undiscovered character, and I think us and Envy are the 2 teams that are really proving that Jeff is becoming a good character again. In terms of my ult, wasn't the proudest moment. The rest of the map, I was trying to make sure I recovered it. That's where the 4K came from, but it's not the best, but we got there. We got the 4K.
People are just happy seeing Jeff, and getting the 4-piece was awesome with it. With all that diversity in the lineup, when it comes to the pick ban phase, does that help you and allow you to adjust to what you might see, because you guys have so much in your arsenal? Walk me through the pick ban phase against not only Nova. Did they do anything that maybe surprised you?
Honestly, we didn't really know what to expect from Nova, because they're one of the Chinese teams who we haven't really scrimmed or played against much. But we kind of just went into the match, did our bans, and just rolled out on what we knew, and it was fairly easy.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I mean, for those that don't know you from, obviously you guys are from EMEA, but for all the other regions, for the viewers that don't know Rad, who are you guys? Tell the world.
We're the team that works the hardest, we're the best players, and we're going to be here to win the whole fucking tournament.
Oh my, love the confidence. Well, guys, we're going to be going up, and you're going to see them in just a moment. It's Rad versus Envy next up in the play-in stage, and then we're going to have ourselves a good match after that. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're back to the action. Good job, buddy. Good job.